ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लाङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। कृपया क्षमतामपराधिजनं खलु शायुतशक्तसुदीननरं सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधव देवपदम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। भुजे सव्यवेणुं शिरसि शिखिपिच्छं कटितटे दुकूलां नेत्रान्ते सहचरकटाक्षं विदधते। सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनवसति लीला परिचयो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे। वन्दे नन्दव्रजस्त्रीणां पादरेणुम् अभीक्ष्णशः यासां हरिकथोद्गीतं पुनाति भुवनत्रयम्। भक्त्या विहीन अपराधलक्षै क्षिप्ताश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयी त्वां शरणं प्रपन्नवृन्दे नुमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भूमस्खलितपादानां भूमिरेव यवलम्बनं त्वय्यजात अपराधानां त्वमैव शरणं प्रभो। वागीशा यस्य वदने लक्ष्मीर्यस्या च वक्ष्यासि यस्यास्ते हृदये संवित् तं नृसिंहमहं भजे। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
So today is disappearance day of Param Pujya Shila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, a stalwart disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada. He is the one very dear to Srila Prabhupada, and he has written so many compositions in Bengali, in Sanskrit, even in English. He has composed several things. His Premadama Deva Stotram in glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, I think it has more than 100 verses. So it is renowned all through the world actually, the Premadama Stotram, where he has described very beautifully the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in more than 100 verses. He has described the entire life in Sanskrit. And also he has written so many other Bhakti Vinod Thakur Dwadashakam, the 12 poems in the praise of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, by seeing which Prabhupada became very pleased. The writing of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj about Bhakti Vinod Thakur, I think Dwadashakam, I think 12 verses he has composed. So after reading it, Prabhupada became very pleased that he has written in Sanskrit, and very, very beautiful language, is also very beautiful. So Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj is a very, very dear disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he was also senior godbrother of our most revered Param Gurudev, Nitya Prabhu Srila Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj. And together they have contributed a lot to the Gaudiya organization by establishing mutts at various places, particularly Madras, Bombay, and Assam, Sarbhog, and in South India another place Kovur, where Rai Ramananda Gaudiya Mutt is established. So in all these places the contribution of these two godbrothers is noteworthy. Both of them have spent a lot of time together. That is why our Param Gurudev had a very special faith, you should say, to Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, because he was a senior godbrother, and Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj has also a very great affection towards our Param Gurudev and our Gurudev also. Guru Maharaj used to say that several times I got an opportunity to go along with my Gurudev to Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj also used to come to our mutt on several occasions, because Param Gurudev used to invite all his godbrothers on particular occasions in order to speak Harikatha, on special occasions like Janmashtami or the annual function of Calcutta Mutt. So they used to be invited, and they used to come to our mutt upon the invitation by our most revered Param Gurudev. And Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj had established mutt in Navadvip Dham. All the mutts, most of the mutts of Prabhupada's disciples are there in Mayapur, and he has established in Navadvip Dham. So last time when I went there for the same tithi, for his disappearance tithi, so at that place one of the disciples of Srila Sridhar, grand disciples of Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, I think, he was saying that when Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj took that piece of land in Navadvip Dham, that was a very barren place, barren in the sense that not many people used to go there. Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami has purchased a vast land, very huge land he has purchased, and then at that time itself he had foreseen that the entire world will come here to this place. So that Maharaj was saying in his Harikatha that at that time we thought that who will come here? Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj has purchased such a vast land, huge land here. What is is anybody going to come here? Who is going to maintain it? But he told at that time itself that many foreigners will come here. Devotees from different parts of the world will come here. Like that he already, at that time itself he has said. And then later that Maharaj told that at that time nobody understood that the preaching would be happening in such a vast scale, and many persons would be getting attracted to Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and there will be very huge temple there, and then many devotees will be coming there. Nobody had envisioned that, but Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj had seen this in advance, that this is going to happen one day. So that Maharaj told in his Harikatha that today whoever all the persons who are coming are definitely recipients of the mercy of Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, because he has foreseen this to happen during those days itself. Anyway, Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj is a very, very dear associate of Srila Prabhupada. That when Prabhupada made his disappearance from this world in 1937, 1st January, then at that time Srila Prabhupada had asked Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj to sing Shirupa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada, this Kirtan. So by this he had given two instructions to all of us. One is Shirupa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada. So Narottam Das Thakur has written that the lotus feet, dust of the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, that is my wealth. That is my object of worship. That is my object of shelter. That is my object of everything. So in that it is written. And Prabhupada, by asking Sri Sridhar Goswami to sing this kirtan, he has given his final instruction in this manner to all of us, that all of us should endeavor to get the dust of the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami. This is our topmost objective. And the other instruction that he has given through this particular pastime is that Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj particularly had no good voice for singing. He was not a good singer. His voice was not that very attractive like everybody the great singers do, with a lot of music and rhythm. His tone was not like that. So by asking Sri Sridhar Goswami, because there were so many expert singers who were disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who could sing very well, but Srila Prabhupada told Sri Sridhar Goswami to sing this kirtan, because the instruction that Prabhupada wanted to give here is that the person who has the real love and affection and submission, the Lord will listen to their prayers only. One may have got a very beautiful voice, one vocal, one is very expert, but the Lord is not attracted by it. Only by surrender the Lord is attracted. So even though Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj was not the best of the singers of Prabhupada's disciples, but still Prabhupada said that through our vocal exhibition, Lord will not be pleased. Only if there is surrender, submission mood, then the Lord will be pleased. In this manner, Prabhupada also gave this another instruction through Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. And there is a very, very strong bonding between our most revered Param Gurudev and Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and that carried also upon our Gurudev also. Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj disappeared in 1988, and our Gurudev became Acharya in 79. But even before that, the relationship was very, very strong. Guru Maharaj, many times he used to remember that when Sridhar Goswami Maharaj became little ill, at that time Guru Maharaj wanted to go and visit him. So he went to take his darshan, but the servants of Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, they objected. I mean, they told that Maharaj's health is not good, therefore it is not possible now. But somehow when Sridhar Goswami Maharaj came to know about it, he was let in. Oh yes, Tirtha Maharaj should come in. So in this manner, Guru Maharaj was allowed, by the grace of, because of the special affection that Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj has upon our Gurudev. He went and then he offered obeisances, and then Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj gave few instructions that Guru Maharaj used to say that on that particular day Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj had shown so much affection upon me, even though it was apprehensive. I was apprehensive that I will not get his darshan, but by his own mercy I got his darshan. And also several other things that Guru Maharaj used to speak about was one of the most common thing that Guru Maharaj used to repeat was about one of the lectures where Srila Bhaktiraksha Sridhar Goswami Maharaj was speaking that we should renounce our tendency to enjoy in this material world, but also we should renounce our tendency to renounce in this world. Means bhog, enjoyment tendency, you should renounce, and tyag, the tendency to renounce, also to be renounced. So then Guru Maharaj used to say that right from my childhood I used to have an opinion that Gita, instructions of Gita, is for tyag, for renunciation, because his father used to teach Gita also intermittently, or Guru Maharaj used to say that sometimes our father, Guru Maharaj used to say, our father sometimes he used to teach me some lessons, English, because our Gurudev's father was an expert in English. He was a very, very in those days in Gwalpada, particularly he used to be the speaker in the school when there was a big assembly and the Englishmen used to come, then the spokesperson would be our Gurudev's father. So his English was very good, and in fact he wanted to go to London also. He got an invitation from London, Guru Maharaj's father, but his mother, Param Gurudev's father's mother, she objected. No, you should not go, because in those days there was a feeling that anyone who has crossed Indian border, they are considered to be mlecha, fallen, because they eat cow, they eat so many things that are not to be consumed by the Sanatan Dharmis. In the Sanatan Dharma there are certain restrictions. You should not eat cows, cows are worshipped. You should not eat so many other things, pork, etc. They eat all these things which are very contaminating. So anyone who has crossed the Indian subcontinent, they are considered to be fallen. That is why our Gurudev's grandmother, she objected her son's going to London, even though he got an invitation from there. So then, because he was the eldest son, our Gurudev's father was the eldest son of his grandmother. So that is why he did not go. But anyway, the point is that our Gurudev's father, he used to teach him English and other subjects, and in between, Guru Maharaj used to say, in between he used to speak some verses of Gita. So Guru Maharaj used to say, whenever our father used to speak some verses of Gita, then immediately some kind of feeling would come in me. Why am I doing all these things? This material world is temporary. He immediately used to get some kind of a renunciation or detachment from the material things. So Guru Maharaj used to say, our father, wanted me to study, but at the same time he would teach also Bhagavad Gita, which would make me difficult to study, because by listening to Gita I would immediately get detachment from everything. So in this manner Guru Maharaj used to laugh and say this, it's very, very difficult. One side he would instruct, other side he would speak about Gita. It's very difficult for me in that manner. But anyway, so right from that age, Guru Maharaj was saying that I thought that Gita is for tyag. Gita teaches about detachment, about renunciation. Now Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj in his Harikatha, he told that you have to give up your tendency to enjoy, you should also give up your tendency to renounce. I was confused. Guru Maharaj said that I was confused. How is it? Okay, we should give up enjoyment, I understand. But we should give up renunciation? This I don't understand. So after Harikatha was over, Guru Maharaj went to Param Pujya Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and he told that you told that we should give up our tendency to renounce also. I understand giving up the tendency to enjoy, but he told that we should give up renunciation tendency also. What is this? Then Sri Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, because our Gurudev is like a son, our Sridhar Goswami Maharaj used to explain. Guru Maharaj used to say very nicely, what belongs to you? Is there anything that belongs to you? Everything belongs to Supreme Lord. What is yours in this world that you can renounce? If anything belongs to you, you can renounce. If anything belongs to you, you can enjoy. But nothing belongs to you, everything belongs to Supreme Lord. Therefore, you can neither be an enjoyer nor can be a renouncer. You can simply utilize them in the service of the Lord. But neither you can enjoy nor can you renounce them. Then Guru Maharaj used to say, then I understood. We have to we have to engage everything in the service of Supreme Lord. That is what it means. So anyway, Guru Maharaj used to say this very often, that I learned these lessons from Param Pujapad Shri Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. And on another occasion, Guru Maharaj used to speak about the Sarbhog Gaudiya Math. In the Sarbhog Gaudiya Math, Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari deities, they were to be installed. But Prabhupada went there. All the few disciples of Prabhupada were sent in advance, and arrangements were made there. And Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj was asked to, prepare the deities for Prabhupada to come and install them. Means Prabhupada would come and install the deities. Before that, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj would make all the necessary arrangements. So, Sri Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, what he did was, he had, in the process, he had decorated the deities beautifully. He dressed them. He also offered garland to the deities. So, when Prabhupada came there to actually initiate the process of deity installation ceremony, then as soon as the temple doors were open, he saw that the deities were dressed beautifully, decorated beautifully, and they were also garlanded. Then immediately Prabhupada told, oh, these deities are already installed. There is no need to install them. They are already installed. In this manner Prabhupada told. So when Prabhupada told like this, then immediately Sri Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj was little disappointed, or confused rather, that, oh, did I do anything that Prabhupada is supposed to do? Prabhupada is supposed to do something, did I do something that he is supposed to do? So in this manner he was little disturbed from within, that Prabhupada wanted to install, but it seems like I have done few things that are not to be done by me. But anyway, later Prabhupada had installed the deities, even though he said this, the formal installation ceremony was held. And then the installation ceremony was over, and also the festival was finished. After that, one time, Sri Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj was discussing with our most revered Param Gurudev that you please ask Srila Prabhupada about Sarbhog Gaudiya Math, where I have done certain things. I am feeling very, very ashamed that what Prabhupada was supposed to do, I have done myself. I am little ashamed for it, and I am not able to show my face to Prabhupada directly. Therefore, you please ask forgiveness on my regard. You please approach him. Then our Param Gurudev has written letter to Srila Prabhupada, saying that Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj is little ashamed of what has happened in Sarbhog Gaudiya Math, and he is asking to be forgiven for that. Then Prabhupada wrote a letter in which he said that Lord does not take the offense of those who are surrendered. If a person is surrendered to Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, then even if he commits any offenses or mistakes by unknowingly, those mistakes are forgiven. The Lord will not take those offenses. On the other hand, a non-devotee, he may be doing all the activities very perfectly, everything, but the Lord is not pleased with his activities because he is not a devotee. Whereas a devotee's activities, they are always overlooked. Means in the sense that the Lord does not find faults in those, because he is Sharanagata, he is a dedicated person. The dedicated person or devoted person, surrendered person's service is accepted in this manner. So in this manner, how Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj is a surrendered person, Prabhupada himself has expressed in that particular letter. So Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj's writings are very, very beautiful. They are very poetic. His language itself is very poetic. Whatever whatever words he spoke, whether it is English, whether it is Bengali, or whether it is Hindi, whatever language he spoke, the words were so poetic, very, very charming, they had a very, very special charm in those. In his speech, there was a very special charm. So, in this manner, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj has. There are several other things that Guru Maharaj used to speak about him, but we will not go into all those pastimes that Guru Maharaj mentioned. But today is his disappearance day. That is why it is a very special opportunity for us to remember him and seek for his grace. So we pray to the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj that may he become pleased with us, with our efforts, and then engage us in his service and the service of our most revered Gurudev. So we will continue from verse number 11 of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 12th chapter. We read the meaning of the 11th verse yesterday, but we did not find time to go through the purport written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So, after Manu has instructed Dhruva that he should stop his fiery move towards the Yakshas, stop his fighting, and he should please Kubera. So he stopped. Kubera was pleased with him, and then he offered a boon that he will be able to remember Supreme Lord Sri Krishna always. And then Dhruva came back to his kingdom after Kubera disappeared from in front of him. And then Dhruva has performed various sacrifices, various penances with various paraphernalia in order to please the Supreme Lord and other demigods. And then the verse number 11, it says that Sarva Jiver Atma Swarupa Sarva Jadopadhi Varjito Shri Achyute Aikantika Bhakti Kuriyataha ke Apnate Evang Sarvabhute Adhisthita Bolia Darshan Kurilan. And Dhruva also, he saw that Supreme Lord Sri Krishna as the one present in all the living entities. Means he saw Supreme Lord in all the living beings, and that Supreme Lord, he is the Sarva Jiver Atma Swarupa. Means he is like a soul, super soul in all the living entities. And because of him, everything has become animate. And he is beyond the three modes of material nature. Such Supreme Lord, he has seen in all the living entities, and he submitted to him one-pointedly. So we will read by the purport by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to this verse. नृपतिगण देवता एवं ब्राह्मणादि प्रीतिजनक यज्ञेर अनुष्ठान कुरिया थाकेन. So the kings, earlier days, in the previous days, the kings, they used to perform various sacrifices and the penances in order to please the demigods and the brahmanas. We heard yesterday that in order to please the brahmanas, the devatas, he used the best of the paraphernalia to offer sacrifices. Here it is being said that it is in earlier days that the kings, they used to do this. They used to, in order to please the brahmanas and the demigods in the upper planetary worlds, they used to perform the yajnas, the sacrificial ceremonies. सेहि सकल यज्ञादि व्यतीत राजगणेर व्यवहार सिद्धि হয় না, अतएव तद अनुरोधे सेहि सकल यज्ञादि व्यतीत राजगणेर व्यवहार सिद्धि হয় না, अतएव तद अनुरोधे स्व प्रतिमूर्ति अर्थात निज प्रतिनिधि द्वारा ही महाराज ध्रुवेर यज्ञादि कर्मेर अनुष्ठान. So without pleasing the demigods and without pleasing the brahmanas, the kings would not get their true welfare. Means in a kingdom, the brahmanas should be satisfied. A king should always please the demigods. If they are not pleased, then he will not be able to perform his kingly duties properly. Particularly if the brahmanas are not pleased, they will curse. If the demigods are not pleased, they will also curse. Therefore, previously the kings used to perform the sacrificial activities in order to please them. But here Dhruva, rather than engaging himself directly in the sacrificial activities, he has appointed someone as his representative. Here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that he himself was not directly involved in performing the sacrificial activities, but he has appointed someone as his representative in order to perform these activities. प्रकृतपक्षे किंतु तादृश कर्मे निजे कोनो अवकाशे लाभ होय ना इहा बोलतेचेन सर्वात्मानी. But actually, in true sense, Dhruva himself was not engaged in any of these karmakanda activities. The yajna, etc., they are performed in order to get more wealth, more opulence, and greater kingdom. All these things, they perform, for getting these kind of benefits. But Dhruva had no desire for all these things. Therefore, Dhruva did not directly involve himself in performing. Rather, he appointed someone else, but he himself, Sarvatmani, means Sakaler Atmaswarupe Athach Asarve Sarva Vyatireka Swarupe Arthat Sarvopadhi Vivarjita Bhagavan Achyute Ekanta Bhakti Korya. But he himself engaged in constant remembrance of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. That Lord who is present in the heart of all the living entities, and that Lord who is untouched by any of the modes of material nature. That Supreme Lord he was constantly meditating upon. He did not directly engage himself in any of these karmakanda activities personally. आत्मनि निजेर अंतःकरणे एवं बाहिरेव सर्व प्राणीर हृदये भगवत ध्यानेर परिपक्वतावशतः स्फूर्ति प्राप्त हइया सेई सर्वमय भगवान के दर्शन करिते लागिलेन. So he in his own heart he and outside also, means inside and outside, within his mind he constantly remembered about him, and outside also he engaged all his sense organs. Within his mind he was contemplating, and outside also he engaged all his sense organs in remembrance of the Supreme Lord and in serving him. So this was the way in which Dhruva had engaged himself in the service of the Lord. After he was instructed by his grandfather Manu that he should not engage any longer in fighting, and that he should now remember or serve Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And when Kubera asked him to take a benediction, and he told that yes, I want you to bless that I remember Supreme Lord Sri Krishna constantly. May I not forget him ever. Tamevam शील संपन्नम ब्रह्मण्यम दीनवत्सलम गोप्तारम धर्म सेतुनाम मेनिरे पितरम प्रजा. ध्रुव के पूर्वोक्त रूप भगवत भक्ति लक्षण युक्त सद्ब्राह्मण गणेर हितकारी दीन दयाद ओ वर्णाश्रम धर्मेर रक्षक देखिया समस्त प्रजाई ताहा के पिता बोलिया बोध करिते लागिलेन. So in this manner Dhruva was a great devotee. So all the persons in the kingdom, they saw how Dhruva had these extraordinary qualities of a devotee, because he is constantly remembering about Krishna. He is engaging his sense organs in the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So by seeing his devotional qualities, by seeing that he is a benefactor of all the Brahmanas, he always used to worship the Brahmanas, and he used to perform activities for their welfare. And he was the protector of the Varnashrama Dharma. He was also protecting the Varnashrama Dharma. And towards the what do you call, poor people, towards those people, he was very, very affectionate and compassionate. So Dhruva had all these qualities. Devotional qualities are there. Very, he is a benefactor of the Brahmanas. He used to take care of the Varnashrama. He used to protect the Varnashrama Dharma. And also he was very, very compassionate towards the lowly people or towards poor persons. So by seeing all these uncommon qualities in Dhruva, the people in the kingdom, they used to consider him like father. It means he was very affectionate to everyone. He used to bring welfare to everyone. He used to protect the dharma. By seeing all these things, everybody in the kingdom, they used to address him as, or they used to see him as a father. Father means what? Protector. Protector of us, protector of dharma, protector of everything. So in that manner, everybody loved Dhruva so much. So we will stop here because time is up, and we will continue tomorrow. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय। जय श्री नारद गोस्वामी की जय। श्री श्री ध्रुव महाराज की जय। जय परमारत्म श्री भक्ति रक्षक श्री देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। तद्यतिरोभाव तिथि पूजा महामहोत्सव की जय। जय परमारत्म श्री परम गुरु महाराज की जय। परमारत्म श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। पिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।